prime time on the top game, it's a fine line. Man of the match, that's Daveye, he's the main guy, keep a close eye. Make sure you don't make no wrong play, cause I'm with Jose and Andre. And when Cyrus comes to walk in, you better know that you are watching Premier League. Daveye, tell him what time we on, what time we on. Time. Let me hear you say Premier League. Daveye, tell him what time we on, what time we on. Time.
Hello and welcome back to Premier League Primetime, and I'm here to give you my thoughts on the Manchester derby that was played today, which was an utter embarrassment to watch. Manchester United 3, Manchester City 6. Yes, you heard that correctly. Manchester City 6, Manchester United 3. I'll start with Manchester City. They were absolutely phenomenal. They exploited Manchester United for where they were weak, particularly in midfield, and that exposed the lack of protection in front of the back four. And Kevin De Bruyne had the freedom of the entirety of the Etihad Stadium to run at our back four constantly. Erling Haaland, phenomenal. Phil Foden, brilliant, absolutely superb. Back four did what they had to do, but largely had nothing to do really. Same with Erickson. Midfield did their job. And now, Manchester United. Where do I start? They've been on some good form, I'm not going to lie, I'll be honest. Wins against Liverpool and Leicester and Arsenal as well. But today was a huge test to see whether we had learned from our mistakes of the beginning of the season or whether it was just a massive drop back into reality, and that's what it was. What an absolutely dreadful performance today. 6 goals conceded. This is a Manchester derby. Like, where on earth is your professionalism? Where's the fight? Where's the desire? Like, I didn't see in any of the players today. McTominay, he's been playing well, fair enough. And this is a game we were thinking, all right, he's suited for the game like this. I didn't see any of the passion at all. There's nothing. There's nothing about this team today. This team was absolutely spineless. It was dreadful from minute one. And Manchester City weren't even breaking sweats. They were playing in second gear. They did the most basic things to cut Manchester United to shreds. When they would press with this front four, and we basically tried to match City man for man from a technical aspect, you're never going to win that battle. Manchester City are arguably the best possession-based team on the planet. So why on earth are you trying to match them from a technical standpoint of view? And this is where you have to look at Erickson in terms of the tactical setup. I understand the starting 11 you went with because this is your winning formula, the team that you went with, and it's been winning games for you. But now it's time to make those changes. Now, it's very clear to see that Rafael Varane, no matter how good he's been, he cannot solely be relied on. Marcus Rashford, as good as he's been up front, he is a winger. He is a wide forward. He's not good through the middle unless if there are balls being played in behind. Martial is a striker that Manchester United need to be playing through the middle now since he is back and he is fit, clearly. And Casemiro now needs to be integrated into the squad. It's very clear. Now, I'll just get right into the Manchester United player ratings. Starting up in goal, David De Gea, not necessarily his fault, but his time is done now. Manchester United in need of a modern day goalkeeper, not just a world-class shot stopper, but someone who's excellent with the ball at their feet, has good distribution. David De Gea has none of it. You should have saved the first shot from Foden, 100%. One of the goals from Haaland should have saved it, but he's not totally at fault for today. But it was still a horrific performance. Conceding 6 goals, not good enough. Absolutely poor forward. Into the back four, Diogo Dalot, I feel so sorry for this kid because he was hung out to dry. Jack Grealish had him on toast. Antony and Sancho, as the wingers, you need to come back and do work defensively, and they didn't help them. They didn't help the wingbacks out. They did not help their fullbacks. So Diogo Dalot was hung out to dry. Got a yellow card as well, but really, really, really poor performance from Diogo Dalot. Easily his worst performance of the season. Without question, I would give him a 3 as well. Rafa Varane 2. From a World Cup winner. I defend Varane all the time, and I did feel somewhat sorry for him because he had no protection from the midfield, but that's inexcusable. I think it was the first goal for Holland. Why are you just ball watching? Like, what was that? Why are you just ball watching Holland get in behind you? Inexcusable. No, a defender your pedigree should read the situation and marshal it properly. No, absolutely inexcusable. You get it too. Lisandro Martinez was the best of a bad bunch. I'll give him a 5. I thought he was all right. Of course, on the ball, I still thought he was okay, but it doesn't say much. He was the best of a bad bunch for me. One of the better players from match 10 on the pitch, but again, doesn't say much. Taro Malacia, and he had an absolutely horrific game. Phil Foden was, again, had him on absolute toast. He had a difficult time against Saka, but found some sort of way to rebound back and to bounce back, but there is no coming back from that. Again, Phil Foden had him on absolute toast, and it was an absolutely awful performance from Malacia. And not good enough, poor. I'll give him a 3 as well. Into the midfield, the biggest problem, the worst area on the pitch. There is no protection of the back four, and this is why I sympathize with the 2 center backs, because after half an hour, they must be thinking, all my work in this game just end already. That was absolutely horrific. There was no protection of the back four, nothing. Scott McTominay, 1 absolutely awful performance. He was dreadful. He was absolutely awful. It was a mismatch. It was honestly, it was a complete and utter mismatch. Him trying to keep up with Bernardo Silva, it was a mismatch. Someone with legs against someone who does not have that much legs and who's not that mobile. It was a mismatch. And McTominay was absolutely shocking. He was nowhere to be seen. He was horrific. Actually, no, McTominay gets a 0. He was absolutely dreadful. He gets no credit for putting his kid on the right way. He was absolutely horrific. Dreadful. McTominay, 0. Christian Eriksen gets a 1 because, I don't know, he's a new signing, he put his kid on the right way. But him as well. He lost his man for 2 goals. And I'll say this right now, for the second goal, why on earth is he marking Erling Haaland on a corner? Why is he marking Haaland on a corner? It makes no sense. Whoever is the set piece, whoever's, dishing out the set piece tactics and whatnot for Manchester United, he has to come severely into question as a set piece coach. I think it's still the guy who's with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It just shows that this club, it's going to take time to rebuild it, and it's not just going to happen overnight. There are still players from the Louis van Gaal era, from the Jose Mourinho era, from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. There are still players and problems that have lasted since then. And the owners being the biggest of problems, they have to go priority number 1, regardless if Manchester United win or lose. The Glazers must leave for the overall benefit of this football club, because, again, the Glazers have nothing to do with the individual performances today. You can't blame the Glazers for what happens, for what the players did on the pitch. You can't blame them for that. But these players were in absolute disgrace today. Utterly disgraceful. Christian Eriksen ghosted. This has been his worst performance of the season. He looked tired. He looked gassed. He looked overrun. He looked like he lost his legs. And I don't know how on earth Christian Eriksen played 90 minutes. I will never know. But he was absolutely awful today. Dreadful. One for Christian Eriksen. Into the attacking trio, who were absolutely awful. I'll start with the right with Antony. Did score an absolutely brilliant goal, but other than that, what did he offer? Absolutely nothing. He offered a half-hearted press, and other than that, he didn't do a good enough job of helping the right backs. If you're the wingers, if you're Sancho and Antony, you have to drop back and help your outside backs, and they didn't do any of it. That's why Grealish and Foden had the time of their lives. Kyle Walker and Cancelo had the time of their lives. It was absolutely horrific. Antony did not do a good job defensively. What more can I say? Absolutely terrible. He gets a 3. Jaden Sancho gets a 2, and I defend Jaden Sancho all the time. I defend him always. I back him. I support him. all the time, but that was horrific. That was horrific. There's no goal to save him, as it did Antony's. He gets a 2. Same issues as Antony. Didn't drop back to help Malacia, and Malacia just got skinned. He got skinned by Phil Foden. Again, a horror show from Jaden Sancho today. Into the number 10 position, Bruno Fernandes, and the Bruno Vol comes back again. What do we see from Bruno when the referee would make a call that he didn't like? Arms out in the air, moaning and complaining. I know I saw his interview, what he was saying in terms of, that's just what he moans because he's trying to show that he cares and that he's fighting for the badge and all that. Show that you care from your performances on the pitch. Stop moaning. I mean, how many months since last season I've said, just get on with the performance, get on with the game. Seriously. I'm pissed off with it. I've had enough of the moaning. All you do is moan. If you have the armband, grab a pair of balls and have something about you. Not just sit there and moan and groan. Just do something about it. Lead by example. Lead by your performances. And today you didn't do that. You did not do that whatsoever. No. Absolutely terrible. No. Bruno Fernandes, again, he was practically anonymous for most of the game. 2, dreadful. Marcus Rashford, and again, just he had some good games in the time period he's been playing center forward, but again, it just shows he's not a striker. He's not a number 9. He is not a center forward. He's not good with his back to goal. He is not. He's better with the ball at his feet, driving at defenders one-on-one. That's where he's at his most dangerous. I've been screaming this for how long? I've been saying this for so long. Poor performance of Marcus Rashford. He gets a 2 as well. Absolutely dreadful. Not good enough. Into the substitutes on the bench, Victor Lindelof, of course, coming in at halftime for Rafael Varane. He was at fault for the Foden goal. 100%. The goal on the counter. Why on earth is he so high up the pitch? I have no idea, but that was absolutely horrific. But you only played 45 minutes, so I'll give you a 3. Fred just kind of ran about like a headless chicken. That's about it. Give you, I don't know, a 4. Casemiro just didn't do a whole lot wrong, but again, really not that great. So I'll give you a 5. Luke Shaw, again, same issues as Malacia, got skinned. Jaden Sancho did not help him whatsoever. The man got skinned. Oh no, it was horrific. It was absolutely horrific. But again, it's not necessarily Luke Shaw's fault. The man got no protection, nothing. So Luke Shaw gets a 3. I don't know. He gets a 4. Didn't play that much. Anthony Martial, that's arguably the only positive. Anthony Martial is back. He is fully fit. I'll give Martial a 6. He got 2 goals, scored a brilliant penalty, but that's about it. But again, it was a horrific afternoon. It was a horrific game. And lastly, into the manager's ratings, Erik ten Hag, and this is the second time he's been in a game this season where he's been 4-0 down. Why aren't you making those changes quicker? Like, when you see the midfield being, why didn't you make those changes within like the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes? You should have made those changes then. If you put in, Casemiro and Fred earlier, I think that probably would have, arguably saved some of the embarrassment. But this is not me saying Erik ten Hag out, but he got it utterly wrong today. He got it wrong. I understand why he went with the 11 that he did. But you don't go with an 11 that's suited to be, a team like Leicester, a team like Liverpool, a team like Arsenal, against the best team in the country by a million miles. Honestly, and the gaps that the midfield was leaving was utterly horrific. It was, this game for me was, this is worse than Brighton. This is definitely worse than Brentford. It's a Manchester derby, so it adds in more of an effect as of right now. Manchester is more than blue. It's been blue since 2013. It was horrific. Every single one of them players today need to take a hard, long look at themselves in the mirror. And they need to look at themselves and say, that I was not good enough. I was not good enough today. I was not fit to wear the badge today. Next performance, the game against Everton, it has to be better. And Everton are looking to research, so that game's not going to be easy either, is it? No. Horrific. This game is horrific for me to watch. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. to watch that. 5:30 in the morning to watch this team get annihilated. It was an annihilation. The score looked somewhat respectable at 6-3, but let's not get it twisted. This game was a complete and utter annihilation. There was only one team that looked to have attacking intent. There was only one team that looked up for it. Manchester City were by far the better side. They deserve to win this derby today, 110%. You cannot argue with it. But Erik ten Hag, he got it wrong. The tactics were wrong. I understand the formation that you're going with, the 4-2-3-1, the 4-3-3. I get it. Don't have any issues with that. The team selection, again, as I said, say it now 2-3 times, I understand where you're going with it, but it just wasn't the team selection that you should have gone with at the end of the day. But you took a gamble and you lost it absolutely big time. But I feel sorry for Erik ten Hag. I really feel sorry for him, because he's wondering, how on earth have I now twice this season been down 4-0 at halftime? Some of these players just don't have the mentality. They lack the mentality. They lack the heart. In a game like this, the minimum requirement, the absolute minimum, heart, desire, fight, intensity for the badge on for the crest that you are wearing on your jersey. Where was that? Because I didn't see any of it. Anyways, Erik ten Hag, 4. I'll give him a 4. The referee, I actually didn't have a whole lot of issues with the referee today. Really didn't have that much of an issue. I don't know, just I'll give him a 5 today. But anyways, there you have it. This was not the welcome back I was looking forward to Premier League primetime, nor to Premier League football returning after the international break. But there you have it. That is your post-match Manchester City versus Manchester United post-match analysis / fan cam / rant, whatever you want to call it, and where on earth do Manchester United go from here? We will see in the games coming up.
Thank you so much for your time watching this, and let us know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts on the topics that have been in store in this feature of Premier League Primetime in the comments down below. Smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to check out our other platforms on Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and wherever you are watching this in the world. We hope you have an absolutely fantastic day / evening.